Hello and welcome to the second of the bite-sized webinars from Companies House. As I say, this is the second of 5 short webinars to help you to understand how to manage and run your limited company. If you missed the first, you can still watch it from our webinar library, and you'll find the link in the handout, which I'll point you to when I do the housekeeping in just a minute or so. We're expecting quite a good turnout this morning, so I'm just going to carry on speaking for a while people join us. Now, as I said, this is the second of 5 short webinars, so don't forget to sign up for the next 3 coming over the next few weeks. My name is Gary Townley, and I'm part of the communications team here at Companies House. As I said, we've got some more people joining us, so I'm just going to talk a little while about the series that we're going to have over the next couple of weeks. Now, in the first bite-sized webinar, we covered directors' responsibilities and how to register for an online account. And we also looked at some of the digital tools and services. Now, as I said, you can watch that from our webinar library, and the link will be in the handout. So we'll look at today's agenda in just a moment, but let's quickly look at what we have coming up for you over the next few weeks. So on the 14th of April, we have some really useful information from the Insolvency Service. And that'll be covering what you should do if you suspect your company is insolvent or becoming insolvent. So it's worth signing up to listen to that one. We're then going to follow that on the 21st of April by a webinar from the Intellectual Property Office, the IPO, who will be showing you how to identify the IP in your business. Now, we often hear a lot of people say, I haven't got actually any IP, but every business will own some type of IP. Your name is a potential trademark, so your company name could be a trademark. You potentially own copyright in any written material or images that you produce. If you just own a website, then it's crucial to know who owns the content of that website. And then the last webinar, webinar number 5, we will be joined by colleagues from the Business Support Helpline, and we'll look at some of the questions that we've had during the series, and we'll go through some of the answers there, and we'll also look at some of the questions that the Business Support Helpline get asked regularly. So again, they're coming up over the next sort of 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So please sign up and don't miss out on those webinars coming up. Now, I'll quickly do a piece of housekeeping for you. So if you've joined us for our first webinar, you'll be familiar with this. But if you haven't, and for any newbies out there, I'll just take you through the look of the screen. So in front of you, you will see the presentation slides. And in the corner, you will see a small tool panel. Now, if you would like to ask a question, and I suggest you do ask questions as we go along today, on the tool panel, there is a question box. Now, to make that box bigger, just simply click on the icon that looks like an arrow coming out of the box. That will make that box bigger, and that will make it easier for you to type your question into. And then one of our experts will pick up your question and hopefully give you the answer that you're looking for. Now, if you are on a smartphone or a tablet, you can ask a question by just using the question mark symbol on your screen. Now, if you do want to save the questions, and we suggest you do that towards the end of the webinar, which will be around 11 o'clock, PC and laptop users can save the questions by clicking on the file in the top of the tool panel, and then the save message log in the drop-down panel. Now, we'll give you a test here just before we get going. Let's see if that works. Now, last time out, I asked where you were listening from. So this time, let me see. They say if you could go on holiday, where would you go? And if you can also tell us if you have anyone watching with you. So just put in the destination you'd like to go on holiday and +1 or +2 if there are people watching with me. I am a fan of road trips, so I would book a Canadian road trip and was in the midst of doing one before lockdown started, and I would start in Vancouver. So just pop your questions in the box there. Just tell us where you would like to go on holiday and if there's anybody listening with you. Now, before anybody asks, you will be getting a copy of the presentation sent to you once we're done, and that is usually around 24 hours after the webinar finishes. So you can expect to get that around 11 o'clock tomorrow. Now, in addition to me, there is a team of Companies House experts in the background waiting for your questions. So if you have any questions about what can be filed online or how to file online, this is your opportunity to get first-hand advice from the experts. So as I said, feel free to send in your questions to us throughout the presentation. We can only answer general questions and we can't go into detail on specific cases because we need the background to those cases. So please make your questions general in nature. Now, at the end of the webinar, you will be sent a short survey as the webinar closes, just to see if it's been useful. And if you could complete that, it would really help us and be really useful for us in our future planning. So also in the toolpan, as I said earlier, you will see that there is a handout which contains all the links and lots of other useful information that we will be talking about in today's webinar. So you just click on that panel and download that PDF document, and you'll have that to hand then for future reference. So on the next slide, we can look at today's agenda. So we only have 20 minutes. These are really bite-sized webinars, as we said. So if everybody is ready and you're sitting comfortably, I think most people have now joined us. We will be covering what you can file online, how to file online, how to sign up for the email reminder service, and then we'll throw in a couple of online tools that will help protect your business as a director. I'm hopefully then going to be joined by my colleague Esme, who will try to answer some of the questions that we've had in, and also will cover some that we had in webinar 1. So let's get started. First of all, then, you may be familiar with us, you probably are, but just a reminder of who we are. Companies House is the registry for limited companies in the UK. We are an executive agency sponsored by BEIS, B-E-I-S, the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. Our role is to register and dissolve limited companies, and we also collect company data and make that data available to the public, hence driving confidence in the UK economy. We have 4 offices all around the UK, so in London, Edinburgh, Belfast and Cardiff, but most of our customers deal with us electronically as it's quicker, cheaper and leads to less rejections. So anybody can access the company register online from their PC, laptop or smartphone, and all the information is indeed free of charge. So today's webinar will start with what information can you file online and why you should file online. So we'll look at them in a minute why you should file online. Well, for a start, it's quicker, it's cheaper, and the online service has built-in checks to make sure you've provided all the relevant information before you can submit that information. And once you use the electronic system, you also get an automatic email to confirm that we received your documents. And then we can send you another email once it's been accepted for filing. So there's really good reasons why you should file online with us. So what can you send us? Well, you can file a full list. You can find a full list of the information you can file online on our website, which is www.gov.uk/Companies House. But for the majority of companies, the essential documents like your confirmation statement, your accounts, your PSC information, and changes to your company's details can all be filed online. Now, as you can see on this slide, you can tell us of any officer appointments or terminations. You can close your company, and you can let us know of any charges against your company as well. And all that can be done online. Now, also, in response to the current pandemic, we have also introduced a temporary service, so you can upload certain documents with us. Those documents previously could only be delivered by post. So that's a sort of temporary service that we've offered during the current situation. So how do you use online filing? Now, I'm pretty sure that most of you will have visited our website, and that is the starting point for your online filing journey, really. So from our homepage, www.gov.uk/Companies House, you will be presented with a list of services, from finding a company to all the forms that are available. So the one you need to select from the front page is guidance, which is the third option from the bottom of the selection menu. You then select filing your Companies House information online. And then on this page, you'll be able to sign into the filing service, the online filing service. If, however, you know what you want to file, you can simply select File Your Company Accounts or File Your Confirmation Statement or change your company details from the menu. But if you're not sure what you want, click on Guidance and then click on Sign In to the online filing service, and away you go from there. So how do you use it? Okay, so once you've hit the guidance page and sign into the Companies House online filing, that will bring you to this page where you can sign into your online filing account. Now, to use our online filing service, you will need to register for web filing. Now, we covered this in Bite-Size Webinar 1, so if you want to go back and review that, you can have a quick look at that from our library. So you will need your email address, your password, and your authentication code. And a reminder that you can watch that webinar, Bite-Size Webinar 1, from the link in the handout as well. So having navigated your way to the web filing sign-on screen, you enter your email address and your password, and you will then be prompted for your authentication code. Now, your authentication code will have been sent to you previously when you set up the company. So check any paperwork that you have received from Companies House. The authentication code is a 6-digit alphanumeric code issued by us to each company. The code is used to authorize information filed online and is the equivalent of a company officer's signature. So make sure you keep that safe. Now, if you still can't find it, you've gone through the paperwork, it is possible to request a new one by following the on-screen prompts, but this can take a few days for it to be sent to the registered office or temporarily to your home address. And again, we covered this in Webinar 1, so please refer back to that if you have any problems. But don't leave things till the last minute, because, as I say, it can take a few days for the new authentication code to get to you. So, a reminder. Even if your company is dormant or not trading, you still need to make annual filings. And once you've signed into your account, you'll have several online filing options, such as filing your accounts, editing your PSC details, looking at your recent filings, etc. But for this webinar, we'll just show you how to file your confirmation statement. So, once you've entered into your account, select the File Confirmation tab, which you can see on the screen in front of you there. Now, a reminder that if there have been any changes to your company details in the last 12 months, you must make these changes and file these changes before submitting your confirmation statement. So once you've clicked on the File Confirmation Statement tab, that will bring you into some details for your company. So you'll need to check that all your details are correct. Has your registered office address changed? Have offices changed? Have you changed where you keep your registers? Have your standard industrial classification code changed? Your share capital, shareholders? And then you need to check that your PSC information is correct. So once you're happy that all that information is correct, You confirm everything is correct by checking the tick box and then submitting. Now, remember that you can log out and come back later to finish the document if you need to clarify any information. And you do this by selecting log out and finish later in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. So once you're happy that all the documentation is correct, all the information is correct, you click the submit button. You will then be taken to a payment screen where you can pay your £13 by credit card, debit card, or by PayPal, etc. You'll then receive 2 emails, one to say that your confirmation statement has been received, and the second to say whether it has been accepted or not. And it really is as simple as that to use our online filing service. Now, if you're still not sure how to use the online filing service, we also have some really useful online filing videos, and these appear on our YouTube channel, which include filing your confirmation statement, which we just covered, and that will be there alongside how to file your accounts, how to make changes, and indeed how to register for online filing. So there's some really good and useful information there. There are also some really good little case studies from directors like yourselves, telling us what they love about running their own business and how they manage their legal responsibilities. And again, you can navigate to our YouTube channel. You can just obviously do an internet search for Companies House YouTube channel if you so wish. But if you go to the front page of our website, scroll halfway along, there will be a link to our YouTube channel on the front page of our website. Now, over the last couple of webinars, we have mentioned email reminders a few times. And it's worth sort of giving you a quick reminder about what these are and why you should sign up for them. So not only is it more environmentally friendly, but businesses who switch to email reminders are more likely to file their documentation on time. And as a result of that, they're less likely to get a penalty for filing anything late. So, it really is worthwhile signing up to our email reminder service. The options also is to choose 4 people to receive an email reminder, such as your accountant, directors, company secretary, if you have one. So again, the chances of you getting those reminders early and in time are really good. And also from the reminder you receive, you can file your documents directly and immediately by using the link that appears in the reminder service. So again, another good reason to sign up to our email reminder service. Now, how do you do that? Well, it only takes a few minutes to sign up to our email reminder service, and it is completely free. So sign in to the Companies House online filing service as we showed above and in webinar 1. Select activate email reminders from your company overview. You then will add an email address. As I said, you can add up to 4 email addresses from that section. So that, again, that could be a couple of directors, it could be your company secretary if you have one, it could be your accountant. So again, 4 people will get those reminders, and there's less chance of you missing any of those important dates. Click the link in the email that you receive from Companies House to validate that email address. You agree to the terms of operation, just a tick box, and you'll then be sent a further email when you have successfully joined the email reminder service. So it really is straightforward and easy to do. And as I say, 4 people will then get those reminders, and it's worth doing that so you don't miss any of those important filing dates. Okay, so other digital tools and services that are available to you. Now, a reminder that we have a new interactive learning tool for new directors, which takes you through the responsibilities and annual filings. Again, we covered this in webinar 1, and the link is in the handout. The tool will take you through your responsibilities as a director. It will show you how to make your annual filings with links to the relevant parts of the Companies House website, and it will also incorporate those useful how-to videos so you can watch those alongside using the tool, and then link to the pages where you need to actually file that documentation. Email updates, again, this were mentioned in webinar 1. By signing up to our email update service, we will inform you of any changes happening in the world of Companies House, so you know what's happening when and where. Now, this is separate to the email reminder service, okay? The email reminder service will tell you when your documents are due. The email update service will keep you informed of any information that we are sending out, any legal changes, any law changes. So again, please sign up to both. It's well worth doing that as well. There's also the Directors Toolkit, and that can be found in the handout as well. The Directors Toolkit takes you through your responsibilities as a company director, the 7 duties that we covered in webinar 1, and why not use the new tool? It's probably more friendly than the Directors Toolkit anyway. A couple of other things I'll remind you about. Now, Follow allows anybody to monitor a company on the register. You don't have to be a director. Just find the company that you are interested in using the Companies House service and select the tab that says Follow this company. You will then be notified of any filings or changes to that company by email. So sign up to that. Why not follow your own company? You'll then be informed if someone tries to file or make changes to your company, or you can follow a competitor to see exactly what they're up to. So the follow service is absolutely free of charge, allows you to follow any company on the register. And last but not least, on the page there, you will see Proof. Now, Proof stands for Protected Online Filing. And again, you sign up to this once you have signed into your account. By signing up to Proof means that we will only accept electronic filing from your company, and any paper documentation we receive will be returned to the registered office address. This safeguards your information, as only people with your authentication code can then make those filings. So that has really been a whistle-stop tour through the online filing service. Hopefully you've been sending questions in. I haven't had a chance to look at the question box, but let's have a quick look now. Yes, there's lots of really good and interesting questions coming in. I'll now see if Esme is there to answer some that we have had. So Esme has been keeping an eye on the question box, and hopefully she's there ready to run through some that we have had in already. So Esme, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Gary. Good morning, everyone.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. I've got a bit of a croaky voice, so hopefully I'll be able to answer your questions clearly.
Brilliant. Okay, let me have a look at some of the ones that have been coming in then quickly, just have a quick run through. Right, okay. One that we've had a couple of times here is question number 1 is, can I file more than one confirmation statement in a year?
That's a really good question. Yes, you can file multiple confirmation statements in any year. You will only have to pay once. So you can file one every year, but if changes occur after you filed that one and you want to file another, you can do that and you won't need to pay the fee again. So you only pay once a year, but you can file as many as you wish. And if you've signed up to email reminders, we'll remind you when your confirmation statement is due. And alternatively, you can always check it yourself via the Companies House Find and Information Service.
That's great, thank you. Yeah, I think we get lots of questions about that, whether you can file one or when it's due. And I think we've already said you can check when your confirmation is due by simply logging into the Companies House service, and you can check that on your page of the company. But also, as I say, yeah, sign up to the email reminders, and you'll be reminded when it's due anyway. So it's well worth signing up for that. Okay, let's see another one. Yeah, this is relating to the email reminder service, and someone has asked, can I change one of the addresses that receive email reminders?
Yes, you can. You just need to sign into your online filing account, select the email reminders tab, which you'll see on that front page, and you just need to edit the address there, and you will then be sent another email to validate the new email address, and once we've received that validation, you'll get another email just to confirm that that new email address is all registered with the service.
Brilliant. Thank you. So again, yep, you're allowed to have four email addresses there and change them as Mez just said. Is really straightforward. It will probably take you less than 5 minutes to do. Just log into your account and change it, and you'll be sent another one just to validate that new email address. Right. Let's see what else we've got coming in here. Yeah, this is regarding the follow service, which I mentioned. So if I use the follow service to follow a competitor, will they know that I'm following them? Which is a really good question, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, and the answer to that is no. So the follow service is anonymous. Any companies that you follow will not be aware that you're following them. This information will only be made available to police and other enforcement services, but this is extremely rare. So yeah, it's just a service that you can use to follow other companies and be notified when they file documents against their register.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Ez. Yeah, I actually use the follow service. My brother owns a company, and I follow his company. I don't need to know anything. I'm just nosy to see what he's up to, really. So if you're the same as me and you're a bit nosy, follow so many companies. Or follow your football club. You can see when they're filing their annual accounts to see if they're in the red or not. So that's quite a good thing to do. Right. Okay. Another question we've had in, and this is about actually this is one which is a hangover from webinar one. I'm a director of a company and own over 25% of the shares. So am I also a person of significant control?
Yes, you are. So, a person of significant control, or a PSC, as it's often shown as, is anyone who owns more than 25% of shares in the company, or they may have more than 25% of the voting rights in your company, or they may have the right to appoint or remove the majority of the board of directors. So you should check your own company's register for members for information on these things, so on the shareholders and the voting rights. And your company's constitution and articles of association may contain information on these as well, on voting and other rights associated with the ownership of shares in your company. So if that's you, you would need to appear as a person of significant control on the register, and then that information gets sent to us at Companies House.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ez. Right, I think we're rapidly running out of time because we want to finish at 11 if we can. Time for one more question, I think. Here we go. I'm a director. I think we get this asked quite often, actually. I'm a director. Does my residential address appear on the public register?
That's a really good question. It does depend what information you've provided to us. So as a director, you have to provide a service address. This address is where we'll send you any post relating to your company, and we do make this address available to the public on the Companies House register. You do also have to give us what we call a usual residential address. So this is your home address where you live, but we don't make that address available to the public. People will only see that if you also use that as your service address. So many directors choose to preserve their privacy by using a service address, such as the registered office or maybe their accountant's address. Or there are many businesses out there that also offer to set you up with a service address for a small fee. But yeah, it's a good idea if you want to keep your home address off the public record.
Right, thanks, Esme. I think we're rapidly running out of time. Now I'll keep the webinar open for right up to 11 o'clock, so just the next couple of minutes to finish answering any questions we've had in. But if we don't get round to answering your question today, we will get back to you by email over the next few days. Now, in webinar one, we had over 120 questions. So apologies if we don't answer today, but we will respond, as I say, over the next sort of 3 or 4 days. Now, as I said, we will be sending you a short survey in the after this webinar. Only a couple of questions, and we'd be really grateful if you could just take a minute or so to fill that in for us. That would be fantastic. So all it remains to do is really thank you for joining us. As I said, if we haven't got round to your question, we will get back to you in the next couple of days or so. So please download the handout if you haven't already done so. The handout you can find in the tool pane on the right-hand side of your screen. Now, remember, we will be sending you a recording of the webinar, and that goes out in 24 hours' time. And obviously, don't forget to sign up for the next webinar in this series, which will be with the Insolvency Service, and they will be covering what a director should do if they suspect their company is insolvent or going insolvent. So that's really going to be really informative and really useful if you are interested in that type of thing. So thank you very, very much for joining us. That's where I'm going to end speaking, but we will leave the webinar open just for the next couple of minutes while we answer some of your questions. But thanks once again for joining us.